Hey, it's Gazbot, and it's a horror production update, number 10. Oh, hi. Welcome to the horror production update, number 10. Well, here I am again for update number 10. Yes, that's right. You've already had the cold opening when I was walking through the park, but I make sure you knew that once again, you have returned. We are together again because it is time for the Horror A4 production report update thing number 10. So it's been a 12-day work week. 12-day work week, which is longer than I'd like, but still less than 2 weeks. So as much as I want to make these updates weekly, I think by telling everyone and myself that it would be between a week and 2 weeks was honest and accurate, because I continually fall into that pocket. So I sort of did a few updates throughout the week, but for the most part I'm going to be doing a recap now. I didn't do daily updates, but there are a few days where I threw some stuff in, and before we get going, let me just show you this video. I've been watching a lot of original Power Rangers lately. This is from Season 2. Tommy the Green Ranger fighting a monster without his powers. And go.
You can't fight me without your powers, Green Ranger.
Oh yeah, I'll grab your foot and fling you down this hill.
Oh no, look here, this is really far. I keep falling, this is quite the long shot. Now I'm gonna do this. Jump! I'm gonna pick up your stick and bang. Nope, you're gonna tumble.
Oh, now I'm rolling. This is the hardest tumble fight I've ever been in. Oh, I farted.
Yes, a tumble down a hill for a really long time. I don't know why, I just find that extremely amusing. So moving on to the important thing, which is work. But work for who? Work for me! On what? The Horror A4, my own personal comic. So, let's check it out. Picking up from where we left off, Tuesday, the 16th, I spent a lot of that day working on video editing. That last video, and this is the thing, when I do these longer videos, it was about 2 hours editing the video and then another half hour or so uploading, so that was a big chunk of my day right there. But I also had to go to the post office, and the rest of the day I did client work. That Wednesday, I did some housework, nothing big. Did a lot of work on the horror. I did 6.5 hours. I don't know if that's the most I've spent, like, not ever in my, well, maybe ever in my life, since I was a kid anyway, since like high school times. I think in my 100 days, I may have done like one day that was like about that good near the beginning, but in recent times, it was a banner day here in the Gazbot household when I did 6.5 hours on the horror. Most of that, if not all, was lettering, and rough lettering at that. I'm putting in balloons, I'm putting in a font, but the font's probably not fine, all the balloons are real rough, but just so that it's readable to somebody that isn't me. And I still didn't finish the whole issue, but I got most of it done, and that was Wednesday, super productive horror day. Thursday, I wanted to just keep going on, but what I did still work on the horror some more. I did another hour and a half finishing up the lettering. So I got all the lettering done, exported all the JPEGs of the rough art with the lettering, and sent it out to two artist friends to get some notes on, because I had previously only ever gotten notes on the script. So I figured, well, now I'll get some sort of just, is the storytelling clear? Not tell me if my anatomy's messed up or perspective or anything like that, but just, is it clear? So that's what happened that day, but I only worked on it for an hour and a half, and I thought about going in and starting working on some inks or doing some cover roughs, but Friday it was, or will have been at that time. Godzilla Night 4, or Godzilla Fest 4. I think they might be in the process of changing the name because it started at 3 o'clock this year. Now, I did this show last year, and it was a pretty good show in terms of fan reaction to what I have, in terms of talking to people and socializing, and in terms of cold hard cash and profit. It was one of the most profitable shows I had all year. This year, once again, it worked out really well. And I'm not talking that I'm making buckets of money, but for the time involved, where it's less than a day, and I didn't really need to bring that much to set up, and there isn't a lot of cost associated with it. Add to that the fact that it's kind of tailor-made for a lot of the type of fan art I do, and it worked out pretty awesomely. So I went with Q as usual. She had a couple of her perler beads there, but for the most part it was my setup. And I did a couple commission sketches, one of which was of Gigan, who is a Godzilla villain, and they wanted the Final Wars version. And it's one of my more favorite, I say commission, but it's like, you know, a con sketch. I'll go ahead and throw that up here so you can take a look. Gigan! Gigan has hooks for arms. Gigan has a beak and mouth. Gigan has hooks on his beak. Gigan has spiky wings. Gigan has a buzzer belly. A Gigan has a spiky mohawk. A Gigan has lots of spikes and things, lots and spikes and things. He's got a tail with, guess what? A hook thing and 2 spikes. Yeah, I'm leaving out a lot of spikes. Gigan is spiky, but it has a visor, so he looks like he's some sort of 80s new wave punk rocky guy. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, Thursday I spent also a good portion of the day getting ready for the Godzilla Night Fest Day show, making prints, kind of reorganizing what I could bring with me for this smaller show, etc., etc. Even though the show was Saturday, not Friday, but it was Saturday. But we were having a friend in from out of town, from the New Jersey area.
Wait, why didn't it stop?
You gotta put it in.
That was still the exit mode.
Close it. You're a ranger! He was coming in for a wedding on Saturday, but he arranged it so they could spend time with us Friday, and then again Sunday, which was great, but that meant that Friday there was not going to be a lot of work getting done. So Friday, he was in town, we hung out, went to some Japanese stores, watched Ex Machina. Actually, I got some cool Japanese candy. This is Kora no Tane, which I think means like cola type candy, or cola seed, cola whatever, but they're delicious. They're really big and they taste like cola, and I like them. That's one that they don't usually have, so I was pretty excited they had it in stock. I also got this Sentai Tokuger thing, which is supposed to be like a little train thing, but it's kind of a model. And as you can see, it's all clear, and I don't build things very well. I shouldn't have.
Well, the park certainly looks different in daylight hours. It's almost as though I'm part of a world and a community. Still, I focus my attention on the electronic box and the virtual friends and family of the internet. Hello. Hello, coping mechanism.
It was a mistake. Anyway, so that was that day. We also watched the movie Ex Machina, which was a lot of fun. The ending, depending on who you are, you may or may not like it. It's I'm not going to say what it is, but regardless of the ending, I found myself enjoying the movie all the way through, and it held my attention. It was very kind of old school sci-fi. Like, I could see this being a short story, which it may have been. I actually didn't look into it, but it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's I liked that it was so scaled back from like the spectacle movies of like a Jurassic World or something. Not that I'm against those, but this was like the exact opposite. It was just a couple, people in a small set kind of thing. But anyway, it's worth checking out. Before we went to Godzilla Night on Saturday, we had some time to kill because we dropped off our friend for the wedding, and we're up in the general area. So
There's a big lizard. You guys see that?
Yeah.
There he is. Whoa. It's Saturday, and haven't done any work on the horror. I got the lettering roughs done and sent it out to a couple people to give me some final notes on the storytelling. Meanwhile, Godzilla Night 4 is tonight, which starts around 3, so it's not just a night. But we had to drop a friend off at a wedding on top of a mountain here, and so we stopped, and you can see it's going to be quite the juxtaposition later when I'm cramped in a small movie theater, scribbling monsters. But for now, beauty abounds. Guys, butt out! Hey, it's still Saturday, but now I'm at High Scores in Alameda. It's a retro video arcade, and it's sort of a $5 for an hour to play. And we're killing time before we're going to go to Godzilla Night 4, playing Star Wars, playing Tron.
Let's try again, Rod.
I am Red 5. I am standing by to destroy. That's what the Force is about, right? Shooting lots of stuff. This is really hard to play one-handed.
we went to come over to my house again, and I picked up a little Grendizer keychain, which I don't have handy, or I'd show you. And then we went to High Scores, which is a cool vintage arcade, which I like to go to. And we also went to a little toy store, not a little toy store, it's actually a big vintage toy store in the area. Prices aren't always that great, but they're fun. It's fun to look around. And I got this Power Rangers Jungle Fury. This is Lily, the Yellow Ranger in Jungle Master Mode, which, I paid, I think, $6 for it, which wasn't a great price or a terrible price. It was a little bit of an impulse buy, but she's going to go on my shelf. She's my favorite Yellow Ranger because she's a badass. Bad butt, I should say, to refrain from cursing. So anyway, then we had the show. All went good.
This is the marquee outside, which is kind of cool. You can see that it's the Godzilla Fest 4. And there's me with the poster. Basically, I just wanted to show you the setup real quick that I have going, which is pretty much my standard right now. It needs work, but I have stuff on the table in front of me, a tower with some super displays, and then books with every print I have available. And this is my... I'm in the newspaper for being a local artist. Look at me being thoughtful. And, hey, who's this guy? What's he all about? I'll tell you what he's about. Having a good time. Yeah, he's a good time, Casbot. These pictures are terrible.
Then Saturday, friend back in town, done with the wedding. Sunday, I meant to say. Hung out with him, went to a park. There's a little cool Japanese park here. I didn't take any pictures, although I may have before. It's like a koi pond and a bunch of stuff like that. It's really cool. It'd be good, like, if you're a cosplayer to go there and, like, be like, I'm a samurai in a period piece. What that? What? That's what my sword would say. You know, some swords are like, demon fire, or whatever. Mine would be like, what? It would be very understated, but people would understand if you're it. Regardless. Man, I'm in a weird thing today. I don't know what it is. It's a thing that's weird. So then he didn't leave. Monday, before he left, I took him to the airport, but we went for this, like, crazy long walk. Well, it wasn't that crazy. It was like an hour and a half, but it was one of those things where it was kind of nice when we left, and by the time we got back, it was like baking sun. Like, I got sunburned on my neck. The weather here is getting kind of terrible. It's like, high 80s to mid 90s, and it's terrible. I like being outside going for walks or on my bike, but it's just been not nice. I'm missing my moderate weather. I'm not happy that we're getting into, like, real summer now. But then I got home from that, and actually I ended up not getting a lot done, work done that day. I ended up having to stop at a few stores on the way home, and I drove him to the airport, and I just kind of the day just kind of disappeared for me. I didn't get a lot done at all. I felt like I was running around all day, but I didn't get any housework done, I didn't get any client work done, I didn't get my own work done. It was just that kind of stuff that happens, whatever. So, Tuesday, client work. Got more corporate caricatures, finished those off. They're not actually due until tomorrow or Monday, but I got them done, whatever. So, that brings us to past Wednesday, and I have a video for that. So here it is. It's Wednesday. I had gotten work on the horror done earlier in the work week, this chunk of time for this update, but haven't in a few days. Had a friend visit and a few other things happen. Godzilla night, all that stuff that you've already been talked to about. And then today I'm going to see Jaws in the theaters, which is one of my favorite movies, so I'm excited about that. And I was getting through some client work because I keep getting client work, most of the day today. However, I did finish up, as I had said, the lettering and the roughs for the first issue of the horror, sent them out to 2 different people, got feedback from one of them, so either tonight or tomorrow I will start making those revisions, and once I do that, I'll feel more comfortable about putting this update up, because I started off really strong, and then have been sort of coasting sort of on purpose until I got the revisions back. So anyway, today is Wednesday, and my cat. Well, wait, I have a video for the following Thursday, too. Here it is. Thursday. And today I have actually worked on the horror. I did about 3.5 hours. So there was a long stretch of nothing, and then we're kind of back to hitting heavy. And basically I got revision notes on the rough first issue from my buddy and fellow cartoonist, comic book artist type person, Mike Dawson, who actually is my buddy. He was my friend first, but he is a cartoonist. I say fellow cartoonist, but he's certainly at another level than me, both in terms of success, notoriety, and skill. He is amazingly skilled, and so I value his input, and I adjusted everything he said accordingly, almost blindly. I think I took 1 or 2 little liberties and changed it my own way, but I appreciated his feedback, and after a few hours I got everything back in shape. So moving forward, I may do another round of revisions if I get some more feedback. Otherwise, I will start working on the final art for page 2. I guess we'll see where that goes. It probably won't be today, maybe tomorrow. Also did more client work and a few other things, got some shopping done. Shopping. So yeah, that's where we're at. And back! And so then, having got the feedback from my buddy Mike and made some revisions, I decided I was waiting on possible feedback from someone else, which I, may get, may not, whatever, but I didn't want to keep waiting. So I started inking page 2, since I'd already inked page 1. And I spent about a half hour on it total. And I'm probably going to scrap all of it. I just felt really rusty, and I was kind of forcing it right before I had to go out that night. And actually, I thought I was going to have more time. Peter Palmiotti has started doing a studio synergy again, and I figured I'd check in and see what was going on there while I was working. And when I turned it on, it was like, oh, they're just starting now. I was like, well, I'll jump on, maybe, hang out with those guys and girls and draw for a half hour. Hopped on, said, hey, everybody, talked for a few minutes, and then it was like, up, gotta go. I was out for like 5 minutes. But I'll put a link below. You can check it out. It's always a good time watching those guys, and it's really good to watch if you're working or doing something else. You just have it playing while you're doing stuff. It makes you feel like you're in a studio environment. But like I said, I'll put the link below for that. And so I did about a half hour work on the inks for page 2 that day, which again I probably won't use. I'll go ahead and show you what I mean. I'll show you the rough, and then I'll crossfade to sort of the inks I was working on that panel, and then I looked at it again and then just like resketched it on top of it. So I think I was just in a weird place that day where like the inks looked worse than the rough. But I'll just go ahead and show that. Yes,
so
here.
This was just one panel from the second page. You can see here the roughs of the character Donald Johnson. And I started going with the inks, and it was sort of coming out okay. The eyes especially were messed up, but I don't know, it just wasn't feeling right. When I took off the roughs, it looked better. I mean, I guess it's passable, arguably, but it just felt really off. And then I quick did like a rough overlay of a sketch with like kind of measuring out proportions and stuff. And when I removed the inks, I felt like that rough I did looked a little bit better.
So that was Friday. Today is Saturday. And what I did today was I had a caricature gig, corporate gig actually, for my Cubot Wife's company. Cubot Wife's. And it was like a 4-hour live caricature gig, and it was busy. I took a quick break in the middle, but like I went to the bathroom, got a soda, right back to work. And I even stayed a little bit longer at the very end. I couldn't quite get out on time. But it went by really quick, and I did a lot of the basic stuff that you always see. But 2 girls asked me if I could do pets, and I'm like, sure. And they're like, well, we have pictures. I'm like, okay. And I expected it to be dogs or something, but it was bunnies. And one of them I thought was kind of fun, just because it was something I hadn't done. It came out kind of cute, considering I don't normally draw bunnies or whatever. And it was a bunny named Cupcake, and so I did this. So that was a little fun thing I did during the day. And then afterwards stopped at a couple stores and things on the way home, and I haven't really worked on anything today. Basically, I was like, oh, I should work on the horror, and then I'm like, oh, I haven't done a video. Well, I'll just do a video and then work on the horror either after or tomorrow, but I realized, it's been a while since I did one. I'm going on a big bike ride tomorrow, so I doubt I'm going to do a video and work on the horror tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow, horror tomorrow. I want to make it like a rap. Rap. Yo, tomorrow do the horror if. Oh wow, nobody wants that. I am sorry. Nobody wanted that. But anyway, so I'm gonna bring it to a close. Just to recap, it's been 12 days. This is 12 days progress report. And I was feeling kind of bad because I had started really strong and then I kind of didn't get a lot done. Partially because I was busy, partially that one day I just sort of slacked. And I was sort of kind of waiting for feedback, not that there's a reason I couldn't be working on other stuff. But when I tallied it up, I had 12 days, 12 hours. That's an hour a day. That's not great, but I think last time it was about 45 minutes a day. So while my individual days are still very lopsided, my overall average is up. So, ideally next time I do a progress report, it'll be hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, no, ideally it'll be like 8 hours every day, but I will feel some sense of satisfaction if it's more than an hour average a day. That being said, I got a pack of Ranger keys that I needed for $10 at some random store, and I've seen them online for $20, $30, $1 million. But anyway, you don't care. I'm just telling you, everybody. Well, for me, I'm going to be out. This is Gazbot for the update number 10. Here's a random thing to see yourself out with.